Hello, welcome to my channel. We are Blueprint Design and I'm Nikhil, and today we are going to make another kind of animated chart. I got inspiration for this chart from a website called Wealthsimple. It's a Canadian website that offers for powerful financial tools to help you grow and manage your money. So the chart I got interested on was this chart. It shows you the distribution of your investments based on your risk level. We're going to try to duplicate this chart. So let's get started. We are in Adobe Xd and I have created the artboard to begin with. I got this color palette from a website online which provides different color palettes for different projects that you're working on. I'm going to link this site in my description. It's really helpful, so do take a look at it. I'm going to start with making a rectangle for the progress bar. I'm going to set the width to 1200 and the height to 40. Let me just center it really quick. I am going to give it a really high border radius so we have a smooth corner. I'll remove the border because we don't want the border on the progress bar, and I've already added some colors in my Adobe Xd palette, so I'm just going to choose from these colors. I'm going to quickly duplicate this rectangle by pressing Command or Control D, and you can see in the layers panel that we have a duplicate. And I'm going to set the width to 40 for this one, and we're also going to change the color. So this lighter blue rectangle shows the total amount of area to interact with, and this is going to be the current state or scenario in this case. Let me quickly adjust the width of this. We're also going to make the seek slider for the interactive progress bar. So I'm going to use an ellipse, and pressing shift on my keyboard I can create a perfect circle. This is without shift, and when I press shift we get a perfect circle. I'm going to set the width or the radius of this circle to a slightly higher one than the progress bar. So I'm going to set it to 70. Now I'm going to lock the aspect ratio of this ellipse or this circle so it does not distort. So for this one we don't really want the fill, but we only want the border, and I'm going to increase the border radius. Also I'm going to change the color of this border radius, and we want the stroke to be within the circle. Again, I'm going to quickly duplicate this circle by pressing Command or Control D. And for this one, we don't want the border, but we want the fill of the same color. Let me resize this. And I can resize this keeping the aspect ratio by pressing Shift on the keyboard. But if I want to resize from the center of the circle, I'm going to press Alt or Option on the keyboard. This is a quick handy tip to pass in your workflow. So we have a seek slider for this one. I'm going to quickly group these two circles in the layers panel. Talking about layers panel, as I've already said, naming and grouping your layers is always a good practice to organize your layers, and even when you come back in the future to edit this file, you can easily understand what's going on. So I'm going to group these layers, the progress bar as well. I can press Command or Control G to group the layers. So we have a slider, we have the progress bar. Now we are quickly going to move to making the rectangles for the investment categories that we saw earlier. So for these rectangle, I don't want the border. I'm only interested in the fill, so I'll deselect that one. And for the fill, I'm going to select the eyedropper tool and select the color from the color palette that we got online. I'm going to set the corner radii for the individual corners because I only want the top left and top right corner radii. So you can see over here, if you select this option, it's going to set the radius for all the corners equally, but you can adjust individual corners using this icon over here. What I'm also going to do is use the text tool to provide like a percentage value as an indicator. So let's say for the first category of investment, I have 27%. I'm quickly going to set the font. I like Roboto, so I'm going to use that. And I'm going to change the color of this font to this one. Okay, I like that. What I'm going to do is make a repeat grid by using this option. So we want, for this tutorial, I'm trying to make 8 of these categories. I'm going to ungroup the grid to have more control over the individual shapes. And so now we can set the color to what we want from these ones. If I want to select an individual element within a group, what I can do is press Command or Control while I'm selecting. So it will select the individual item. I'll also set the percentage values to roughly reflect what we see over here. I realize these may not add up to a total of 100%, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm keeping random values. I'm going to quickly group this entire chart and rename it in the layers panel. What you can do is also add some descriptive text about what the category is, or if you're using this chart in another context, you can provide some more details over here. So there we have it. That is the initial state for our animated chart. I'm going to select everything what we have, and I'm going to create a component out of it. So you can right click and make component, or you can use Command or Control K, or you can press the plus icon over here to make a component. So that's what we did, and we have the default state which looks like this. What we want to do is now create one more state, and I'm going to name this final state just to differentiate. So now we have two different states of the same component, and we're going to change the values or the percentages for the individual categories over here in the final state. With this final state selected, I am going to dive in on each of the rectangles to adjust the heights and also the percentage values. All right. So for the second state, we want this seek slider to be all the way on the right. So we're going to adjust the position of this seek slider now. And when we move the slider left and right, I also want the progress indicator to adjust accordingly. So I'm going to move that as well. So there you go. This is the first state. This is the second state. We're quickly going to save the progress that we made. And with the default state selected, I'm going to move to the prototype tab. I am going to select the seek slider and then tap on this or click on this arrow over here, or alternatively you can also click on the plus icon to create an interaction. Now when I tap on this seek slider, I want this to auto animate, so I'm going to set the type of action, and instead of moving to another artboard, I'm going to set the destination to the final state. I'm going to set the easing to ease in and out, and with a smooth duration of 2 seconds. So there we have the first interaction. Now clicking on this once will take us to the final state. So now we're going to create an interaction from the final state to the initial state as well. So I'm going to repeat the process. So there we have it. We're going to quickly see the progress that we have, and the value updates nicely and smoothly. That chart was an interesting chart on the Wealthsimple website, and I thought it's going to be interesting to share how to make this easily and quickly with you as well. So just like the previous chart, I went ahead and created another chart for you so you can have a better idea and different options to make different types of charts. Staying in the financial realm, I thought to make another chart where the interactive bar shows, depending on how much you invest, after so many years, you can have different portfolio values. So I am going to animate this, and to the other side, if you invest 50% of your income, you could have about $100,000 invested or save more after 20 years. Now obviously these are all just indicative numbers, but for representative purposes, it is a great chart to show. So there you have it. I have two different types of animated charts for you. We also have an Instagram account where we share about best practices in UX research and design. I'd love to see the designs that you create. Feel free to send your designs to us for reviews or suggestions. If you want us to create a tutorial on a specific topic, do let us know down in the comments section. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel as we will be creating more such videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching.